How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? This is William coming at y'all again, and what I want to do, I know I've been doing all these videos and everything, and I know, in addition to people that know me, is more people that probably don't know me. So, well, I'm gonna take this time. I'm gonna try to give y'all a little insight about me and the person that I am, so y'all can have a better view of the type of person that I am. Okay, I'm gonna start by saying, I got 12 children, 7 of which is grown, and I have a 8, 9 year old boy that's by the girlfriend of mine that she no longer with us, that I had got custody of from the state of Florida, Osceola County, and and then I got 3 more children, which is by my ex-wife, 3 little ones, 3, 4, and 7. That's the age they is right now. So that's to tell y'all a little bit about myself. And I raised my 7 children grown. That's by my first wife. And they all out got college, education, medical, field, nurse, doctors. I mean, I'm really happy about the older children that I raised because they doing their thing. They doing it, and I'm proud of them because, I was pretty much, the only child of my mother, pretty much. So I wanted a big family, and I welcome a big family. So I just go ahead and tell y'all that. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, my girlfriends, when I had the 2 children by, my 8, 9 year old boy, that's their age now. And then, of course, my ex-wife. Okay, well, this be real quick. I'm gonna just kind of run this through. Come here, little Will. I'm gonna give y'all an opportunity to see my 2 boys that the Judge Sophia Crawford broke up from the other siblings. Come and stand right behind me here. What's your name, son?
William.
William. Do you know who your sister is?
Yeah.
Your little sister? Who your little sister?
Purity.
Who your little 2 brothers?
Baby J and YJ.
Okay. All right. You miss them?
Yes, I really do.
Yeah, I know. What else would you like to say?
I like to say I love my sister so much, and I just want them to stay with us. And the good people is good, and the bad people is bad and evil and all that stuff. And I just don't like that. I just want to keep my family together and not in the bad stuff.
All right. Okay, we can go back and sit down. Isaiah. That's my oldest little boy. He's 9. So I'm gonna introduce y'all to my other little boy. He's 8, right behind my other little boy. Stand behind me. State your name. Get right here so the camera see you. State your name.
Isaiah Jeremiah Law.
Wow. It's Jeremiah. Okay.
Jeremiah.
Okay. So, do you know your little 2 brother siblings?
Yes.
What's their name?
Baby J and YJ.
What's your little sister name? You know her name?
Purity.
All right. You miss them?
Yep.
Okay.
They need to start staying here because they don't got to stay with her.
Okay. So, anything else you'd like to say?
I don't know.
Okay, you can go back and sit down. I just want the people to give them the kind of, y'all can go back in there and sit down. Yeah, so y'all have met my 2 little children now. So 3 years ago, at the time that my ex-wife left me, my 2 oldest boys 3 years ago would have been what? 3 years ago would have been 6 and 5, right? So my daughter would have been 4. Right. Yeah, my daughter been 4. Right. And my baby child was about 4 months. Yeah. And my other child, my older boy by my ex-wife would have been, I think, around 18 months, somewhere in there. So I just want to kind of tell y'all about me, for those of you who don't know who I am and how I raised my family, how I love my family. Now, them 2 boys I just introduced y'all to, I went through the same drama with their mother in the state of Florida, where she made false accusations on me, domestic, and but I'm gonna tell you something that I liked about Florida, because that's a hard state. If any of y'all ever been to Osceola County, which is Kissimmee, Florida, if any of y'all have ever been there, Y'all know they don't play down there concerning child abuse or fussing in front of a child or hitting in front of a child. You know, they don't. They got zero tolerance for that. Zero. And these things, my girlfriend at the time accused me of. And I'm going to tell you, she was a petite white woman, very petite white woman. I'm let's go ahead and tell y'all that, so y'all, because if you saw my kids, yeah, they mix, they mix. Their mother is a petite white woman, so she made a false allegation about me because I was gonna leave her. So she made false allegation about me, and I ended up getting locked up. And immediately I got out in Florida, and they ended up dropping all the charges against me because I had some recordings of some of the stuff that went on. And so even the what you call it, the judge that do the domestic violence restraining orders and stuff dropped that against me and ordered her into psychological help. You know what I'm saying? So I went through that, and they took my kids from me at first, because you live woman always win, don't they? Especially in the state of Florida. Because Florida is not a 50-50 state like North Carolina. Those of you who don't know, North Carolina is a 50-50 state with your children if you ain't got no custody order in place. But Florida is automatically for the woman. Automatically. Okay. So going through the process there in Florida, they took my kids, they gave them to her. And so I said, okay, man, I can't beat this system down here. So I told the judge before I left, though. I'll never forget the judge's name. He was a man. I think his name was Judge Dawson. I never forget his name. And I told you, I said, Your Honor, I said, no disrespect to the court. I said, but you giving my kids to the wrong parent. And that's all I said. I left out of that courtroom that day, and I headed my butt back to North Carolina. And let me tell you, I don't think it was a week, maybe 2 weeks. I don't think it was even that long. In the same month, I got a call from the state of Florida saying that they done took my kids from my girlfriend and got them in foster care. Now, mind you, they going to court the very next day. The same day they called me, they going to court with my children and put them in foster care. So I couldn't get to Florida in time. So, down in Florida, they have what they call phone call in, where you go to court actually on the phone. So I sat in court and sat in there, and I told the judge, I said, I said that this is the kind of stuff that this woman does. I hadn't told her, said that. And so now she can't get the children back. So now my kids in foster care. My two little boys that I just introduced y'all to was in foster care in Florida. All because of her now. Man, let me tell you something. I got it from here in North Carolina with my butt to Florida. I had a visitation with my child once every other week, my two boys. And they had them split up. And they wasn't supposed to be split up. So I made it business and went broke to go down there once every other week to just visit with my children for 2 hours, I think it was. When I tell you they had me jumping through mental health services, psychological evaluations, domestic violence classes. Let me tell you something. Mental health, I ain't got no problem with none of that. But boy, let me tell you, they put me through it though. And if I would have never went through it, I would have never been able to be around my kids again. So I did it. I did it in the state of North Carolina because I was a North Carolina resident, not a Florida resident. And I did it. And you know what? Every time I would go back to court in Florida to try to get my kids reunited with me, there was always the government lighten, the people that was against me. They was pretty much trying to draw a hand because they was trying to adopt my kids out. Because if y'all ever heard anything about Osceola County, they say you don't get your kids back Osceola County. When they take your kid, they and they adopt them out. And that's what I was told. Man, I went down there. Let me tell you something. And every time I went down there, it was nothing good enough that I was doing to them. Government light them, wasn't nothing good enough. Nothing good enough. And and at the end, let me tell you what happened at the end, y'all. What I liked about the judges there is they applied the law. They had to see that I wasn't an abusive daddy. They had to see that for themselves by the many courses that they took me through. So the judge was pleased with everything. And then every time I went to court, they came up with something new for me to do. So the judge one day when I was in court, the judge looked at the government line, looked at the other attorney. Now the district attorney at that time was on my side. Ain't that something? Now you know you don't have a district attorney to get on your side. The district attorney's against your butt. At the end of my case, the district attorney was on my side, and the Gottman Lighting attorney wasn't. But that judge looked over there and told the Gottman Lighting, said, "Now look, Mr. Wall come down here faithfully every other week to see his children, and he come down here faithfully, and he did have done everything that y'all have asked him to, that y'all have ordered him to do." And he said, "I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna order him to do this thing that y'all want him to do now." This is what the judge said now. He said, "But I'm giving him back his kids the same day." Wrote an order. Man, that got them, light them, and them down there. That's why I know, see, people, evil people stack up, but see, good people gonna overrule. You see what I'm saying? Man, that judge told that, and man, that lawyer for the got him and light him got fired up in there, and was just talking, and the judge said, "I done made the order, and that's it." I got my kids out of the state of Florida and brought my kids back here, and then was under a year's supervision after I brought them back to North Carolina. And I was on a year supervision. Guess who were the supervisors? Truly, DSS of Rockingham, North Carolina. So they know the history of me because they done been involved with me on good terms. You know, them child protective workers up there. They know me through my upbringing of my older kids. You know, and they know ain't never been an abusive dad. And see, this is something that you ain't got to go up there and ask them. This is something they know because they done been involved with me. You know, they supervised that year when my kids came from Florida. With my boys, the same two boys I just introduced y'all to. Well, the same two boys, they supervised me when I first brought them back to North Carolina from Florida. Because they wanted to have an out of state, the state I was living in, they want to have somebody supervision over me for that year. To make sure I'm a good dad and make sure everything was good. I completed it. They wrote it off. Everything was good. So now here comes my ex-wife. You know, all the time, my thing is I love to take care of my family. That's my whole thing. I mean, and I love all my children. That's my whole thing. The last time my daughter was around me, she cried. Like, she didn't even want to leave me. My boys didn't even want to leave. You know, they jumped out her vehicle, run right to me. You know, stuff like that. And see, that's stuff like that hurts me because when you look at an evil parent that does the stuff that they do, not got no careability for the children. That's why I can say that she don't love them, because if she did, she would do just what's right. But then, not mind you, you can't expect a mental person to do what's right, can you? Because they already think they're right in their mind anyway, don't they? Whether they wrong or right, they think they right all the time, don't they? So now she, swayed this all against me. Now let me tell you, people in Richmond County didn't come against me because I was a bad daddy. They came against me because I fight the system around here. When you wrong me, then I'm gonna find a way how to write you up. I'm gonna find a way how to get it to the right authorities, and publicly humiliate you and bring some light to the scene. That's my goal. That's what I do. Because I've been on the other side of that law before, where you can't beat them, join them. They say you can't beat them, join them. But see, I can't beat them, and I'm not going to join them, so I stay away from them. That's my thing. So I stay away from them from afar. So anybody that violate me and do something to me or hurt me in some kind of way, I try to find out who I need to write or who I need to send letters to shed some light on the matter. That's what I do. So then they take my kids from me based on the fact that I'm an unfit daddy or a bad daddy. They took my kids from me to get at me because of what I do. And so forth. Y'all already see some of the things I do, like with my YouTube. But then I get on my computer and I write. I write the governor. Man, I go all the way to the White House. Because I want to share some Raleigh, the capital. I want to shed the light on these evil people around here and the stuff that they do, because they wicked darkness is around here. That's why a lot of people. Cause I don't know if some of y'all feel this way. When I have never been in any trouble other than this place right here, and they have caused me to be in trouble. When you run a record check on me, you see all my troubles is right here in Richmond County, North Carolina. All my troubles. I lived in Arizona, I done lived in Florida, I done lived in Georgia, I done lived in New York, I done lived in New Jersey, I done lived in Virginia, I done lived in a whole lot of places, and every place in a part that people cause me to be in trouble, it's right here in Richmond County, North Carolina. So every time I leave and come back to this place, it's like a cloud. Y'all ever feel that way? Some of y'all, You'll feel that when you come here and when you leave, you feel so good and relieved. But time you cross that line in Richmond County, it seems like it's a dark cloud, don't it? Like it's a dark cloud. They don't understand that. So you come, I mean, you like to be here, you like some friends of yours, but it just, when you come here, it's like a dark cloud, ain't it? Evil cloud. Like you just hovering up under a evil cloud that's hovering over you. Soon as you cross that line in the Richmond County. Yep. And I'm gonna tell you something about the members of the sheriff department. Same thing. You know, they did all that grimy stuff to me in the likes of my ex-wife because they wanted to get at me. It wasn't because I was a bad daddy. And everybody around here know, the people that know me know that I'm a good daddy. Knows that I'm a good daddy and know I love my children and I raise my children. But see, what they don't like about me is I'm a man that stands up for his children as well and stand up for myself. That's the part they don't like, is that you stand up for what's right, what you was about. They don't like you to stand up to them. Or you just want to act like a little puppy dog, whatever they say, you know, that's what you supposed to go by, whatever they, no, well, I'm not the one to do that. I ain't never been the one to be like that. What you said, just what you said. I ain't got to accept what you said. You know, that's my thing. So that's what I went through. But mind y'all now, and then let me go back to years back too with my daughter. I had a younger daughter that I got the custody of from her mother in Laurinburg, North Carolina, back when she was a child. Let me tell you what this judge did. Since I hadn't been around my daughter, so the judge didn't just immediately put her in my care. He said, "Well, I'm gonna give you visitation every other week from, I think it started out from Friday to Sunday." Then she didn't even bring my child there, so the judge got her for contempt in Laurinburg, North Carolina. Then he extended my visit from every other week for Thursday to Sunday. So she started complying because next time she would have broken, she was going to jail. Because I had a lawyer at that time. His name was Chuck Hicks. He passed away now. He dead now. For those y'all know, his name was Chuck Hicks, Charles Hicks, out of Laurinburg, North Carolina. He was my attorney, and but ultimately I won custody. And see, that's the same thing. See, I know how the custody thing works and how it's supposed to go about. So let me just say this. When my ex-wife left me, November 2017, our little boy he was born in July, so that'd have been August, September, October, November. He would have been right at about 4 months. Well, he would have been 3 months out going on 4 months. That's when she left us, right? Now, my little boy did not know her whatsoever. He did not know her. Now, tell me, how can a judge almost 2 years later script my little boy along with my other little boy and my daughter, script me away from my 3 children just like that? Tell me, how can a judge do that when I done went through the experience of a child not knowing one of the parents and they little babies or little, and the judge just don't immediately take that child and throw it to the other parent because that child don't know that parent. So that's what Sophia Crawford did. Judge Sophia Crawford did to me. She took a child of mine that the mother, he didn't even know the mother. No, nothing, did not know her whatsoever. But she stripped my child from me to give to my ex-wife. All 3 of my children. And that's when she stripped me of my rights in 2019. I mean in 2019, March. And then I had to go hire a lawyer immediately because I had a 10-day grace period to hire a lawyer to reverse what she done to me. You know, in May. And I got that reversal in May. You know, which I think about that now. I should have went on let that lawyer endure that I had for appeals court. I should have went on with him 100%. Because when I messed around, got that lawyer that got brought out from under me from Charlotte. He was a black lawyer. He got brought out from under me. Same situation. Look, here's what happened. This is what these lawyers did to me. When I went to him, they were like, yeah, man, he told me, yeah, we're going to burn her a new one. We got her. This is what this lawyer told me now. Man, I was confident with this lawyer, man. I'm like, man, okay, we got her because she didn't overbound her jurisdiction. You know, she done went over and bound with her job, you know. So I was excited about this lawyer. Man, went on and gave him his retainer's fee. Man, let me tell you, when I walked up in that courtroom in May, that lawyer had a different attitude. That lawyer had a different attitude. He coming in there want to make me plead to help I'm like, what? I said, I hired you to fight for me. I ain't hired you to come trying to get me to plea or to do this or to want me to drop charges against my ex-wife in order for this judge to reverse. I said, no, I ain't finna drop no charges about nothing. You gonna get your butt up in there and you gonna fight for me just like I paid you to do. You know what that lawyer did? He went up in that courtroom and tried to resign as my lawyer because I paid him to do a job that he welcomed, you know. But then when it came down to go to court, he was just like a little dog with his tail in his butt. You know how you do a little sooner dog? That's what he was like. So that got by. So all right. So now here we go again. So I said, well, you know what? I'm gonna go hire me a lawyer just to finish this case. You know, this equity distribution, alimony, child support. So I go to hire this lawyer, the rec law firm out of Charlotte. She excited me. She read over everything. She said they have did you dirty. The first word come out my lawyer's mouth. Rec law firm, Katie. Her name is Katie Rec. These lawyers have done you. I mean, you have been dirty. Did dirty right here. I mean, that first thing came out her mouth. And I was so excited about her. I sit down, listen to her. I sat there and listened to her go through the files. And I said, look, I ain't got no good record here in Richmond County. So it's a hard thing for me. You know, so all this was out in the clear. When I hired this lawyer, all of this was out in the clear. So, and I was excited about her, man. I jumped for her. Went on and gave her a retainers fee. You know, then she ended up sending me bills, outstanding bills that I thought was crazy. Because I wasn't getting no service because she only came to North. She came for a hearing that I didn't need her for, but I just wanted her to be there. So she came for that hearing. No, it wasn't a hearing. It was just something like a mediation. That's what it was. It was a mediation. So, and she came for that. That was it. And the other time she was sending her, I guess, paralegal or whoever, but she was sending people like that up here, you know, trying cases that they hadn't prepared themselves for. They haven't, them lawyers had plenty of time. My lawyer at that time, the rec law firm, had plenty of time to get them contempts in order and get them signed by judge and send out the necessary documentation to the other party to come to court. I didn't get that, so that ran me in the hole. So then finally, my lawyer didn't acknowledge to me that I had a court date in 2020, May of 2020. So I guess they went to trial on something I didn't never even know about. Never even knew about. So I'm like, how can you go, if I'm supposed to be there in trial, how's a trial gonna take place if I'm not there? And for all y'all that know me from the courthouse, from everywhere, know that I don't miss court dates. I don't miss court dates. I never have. So all of a sudden, this court date was a court date in May 2020 of this year, 2020. I done missed a court date and didn't know nothing about it. And the bad thing about it, didn't know one thing about the court date. And so this judge trying to get dirty with me up there. I didn't know nothing about no judge's order or what a judge said in May because I never went to court in May. Never knew anything about a court date in May. So you can't hold something against me that I don't know nothing about. So that's what happened. So I went there. And then let me back up just a little bit because I kind of went a little too fast. Back up to Judge Sophia Crawford. This same attorney that I had, that he tried to denounce himself as my attorney, judge, he didn't allow him to do that. But let me tell you what she did do. And I got the papers and the documents, and I'm gonna bring it to y'all to see this. Anytime a lawyer resigns as your lawyer, he resigned from your lawyer in that county that he fighting for you in. But let me tell you what this lawyer did. This lawyer drew up Mecklenburg County paper for Mecklenburg County Courthouse and came and filed them in Richmond County Courthouse with Mecklenburg name on the papers. So, and let me just correct it. Them papers supposed to have Richmond County on the name on them papers, not Mecklenburg County. So they went before the same judge, which was Sophia Crawford, and then I went and investigated that. Finds out she's the exact judge that signed those papers to excuse him from being my lawyer with the papers of Mecklenburg County. How? And I'm looking at how. That's how you know the judge is prejudiced against you, because she didn't take the time to figure out that these papers was wrong before she signed them. But I guess they made some kind of correction on them. But I said I got the papers right now. And these are the kind of papers I'm sending in but then why you want to be mad at me when I'm doing what's right? Because you was wrong? See, this is what they do. They trying to paint a picture of me that I'm this disrespectful, high-heated person. So they're trying to paint this picture. And the only reason why they're trying to paint that picture to make me look bad, because I'm fighting back and I send the paper to the right people that I know to send them to. And yes, I done wrote Sophia Crawford up to the Judicial Commission standard. Yes, I have. And so now you're gonna depict me for what I done. And I'm gonna do it again. Cause when I stack all the other papers up and to these signatures that Sophia Crawford has signed concerning excusing that lawyer from me, and I had no knowledge of it. I had no knowledge of a court day. I had no knowledge of any changes of any forms because I was supposed to be made aware. I was supposed to be made aware of that. So she signed the paper, and I went up there investigated and found out that was her signature on that paper that she signed to excuse my lawyer. But look, they know afterwards what they did wrong. But you can't go back and correct it after you done it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna capitalize on it. I'm gonna capitalize on what they did wrong to me because you was biased. That's why it's wrong. Because if you would have never been a biased judge, you never would have took my kids for one, gave them to a mentally ill person, a disabled person, and on top of that, a assaulting person that assaulted not only me, assaulted our kids on camera. And this is the same, and had a restraining order against her where she couldn't even be around our children. Now, this is the same judge that stripped me from my rights and gave me to this mentally ill woman. The same judge now. Everybody around here know, and for those who you haven't saw it yet, go back and look at that video with my ex-wife assaulted me in the parking lot of DSS, and it was on their own camera. On their own camera, they assaulted me, and the district attorney's office haven't brought this case before the court yet. That's what got me, and then the district attorney has been affiliated with me throughout the years. So that's what gets me about everything. So everybody stack up against you here. So that's what I mean by stacking up against you. You got the members of the sheriff department that stood for her when they was wrong. Sit there and told me that when I was when she had me locked up, I couldn't get my children because I lost my rights. When the shoe got on the other foot, and I went to get my children when she was locked up, I can't get them. Now what kind of junk is that? So the law said I can't get my children because I was locked up and I lost my rights. But then the law changed couple of weeks or a month later that when she was locked up, I couldn't get my own kid, and I'm the daddy. So that's what the sheriff department played against me, was that. Even the sheriff himself said that to me. So my thing is, when they strike out against you, that's what they do. They don't care about breaking the laws of this country, this state. They break the law to make them right and make them hurt you. So that's what they did. They made it hurt me. Most every judge has been up there, and I can call the judge that ain't been biased, that I felt like haven't been biased towards me, Judge Stone. You know what? And the judge that I expected to be biased against me won't bias, and that was Judge Scott Brewer. Even he won't bias against me. And I've been on both sides of the law with him. I've been prosecuted by him, and he was a judge on me. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. But now I come down to Judge Crawford, this recent judge, whatever that name is, Brooke something, J. Brooke something, Smeasley or something. I can tell when a judge is biased against me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna write every judge up, but I'm gonna talk about you. I'm gonna talk about, because if I feel that you wronged me and you was biased to me, I'm gonna talk about you. Because this is my YouTube and this is my time to shine. You shine because the time you shine in the courtroom is to hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, from the very beginning, the law hasn't been followed concerning this judge giving my children to their mother. Laws was not followed because not unless I read the law wrong, whoever gets the children have to be stable, have to be, mentally stable. This woman been going through mental health ever since her youth, and been in and out of hospitals. So how can a person like that is stable that you're gonna sit there and say it's stable and she can explode anytime? That's like she exploded on me in the front of the DSS building. That was a mentally ill person that exploded on me. That wasn't no normal woman in her right mind. That was a mentally ill person that exploded on me. But then they want to reverse and try to make it look like that I'm the one I'm the one that's like that. But you know what? I got record behind me. I done raised my 7 kids grown, lovely grown, and you see my 2 boys I just introduced y'all to. And let me tell you what she said when she ripped my family apart. That my 3 children need to bond with her bastard children that she had, from a Dutch relationship. You know what I'm saying? That's what I did. That's what the judge did. That my children need to bond with her adulterous children that she went outside of her marriage and got. But now I didn't say nothing about, well, you know what? Here's the two siblings that's been there from day one. He been raising his kids, all his kids in the same house ever since day one. Let me just uproot them out that permanent home. Let me just rip them up out that permanent home. And then put them unstable. Make them unstable because she's a woman and because we going to get at Mr. Wall. Because he don't know how to close his mouth. He runs his mouth and don't know how to close his mouth. Yeah, I run my mouth because you wrong me. And I'm always run my mouth because you wrong me. Do what's right, you know. That's the only thing I ask. I don't go in that courtroom asking for anything but just what's right. So now you done made every judge wrong, and I done got custody of my two boys. I done got custody of my older daughter from her mother, and now you gonna sit there and take custody from me, I even got custody of my daughter with my ex-wife. You know, I gave her half the custody because I wanted her to get help and keep in mental health. So I let that happen. You know what I'm saying? And so now she gonna go to not even a doctor, not a certified psychiatrist, or how do you say that name? But y'all understand what I'm saying, right? Because she just she don't need to go to a counselor. She got to go to a real doctor. You know what I'm saying? Not a counselor. Counselor can't prescribe psychiatric drugs. You know what I'm saying? So, man, that's the hurtful thing that I really felt hurt with, because that judge put my kids in harm's way. You put my kid with a mentally unstable person that'll explode at any time. That's what that judge did. Judge Sophia Crawford, that's what she did to me. You know, and she did it out of spite. She didn't do it of the law. She did it out of spite to hurt me. That was 100% bias on her part. And whatever letter that I can write and what I can do legally for her to not have that job again, to hurt anybody again, I'm going to do that. So you can believe that. You spread my name through the judges system, I'm going to spread your name through the whole, from D.C. down, to see what kind of judge that we got here in Richmond County that's hurting and breaking and splitting families up at your likes and not at the law and not applying the law. Anybody can see that judge broke all laws to do what she did to me and didn't care. But anyway, I just want to get y'all up there and get y'all feel about this is the person that I am. And I just want y'all to understand who I am. Thank you.